Welcome back to the LCS, where one of these days I'm going to find that bird that's trapped in the Analyst studio. Raz.
Right in the middle.
It's in there. Either way, our next game has our only remaining undefeated team in FlyQuest.
There we go, the Kings!
The definite kings of the LCS right now being challenged by the likes of Team Liquid, who impressed many with their approach to yesterday's game against Cloud9, but I think they're going to have a similarly creative approach to a game against FlyQuest, because you take a look at that top lane, and Kumo is the king of the Enchanted players right now, I'd have to say.
Yet the Ornn game, they went even faster.
That's true.
But they were the pioneers of this in the LCS. We've seen a lot more of it recently. Specifically, I thought the first game they did a very good job being very mobile with that Janna to get Johnsun ahead and then allow him to try and hyper carry some games, which happened in the second game they played. But yeah, after yesterday, when they just absolutely obliterated TSM in the 5th game of the day, confidence has got to be really high for this team.
Yeah, I mean, it proved that, they can play both styles. And this is going to be a much, I would say, tougher challenge going up against TL. However, like the timings they hit in that first game with the Janna were good. Their understanding of the fact that they want to absolutely funnel money into Johnsun is also good, recognizing that. And once again, he's been performing really well for the team.
I mean, you mentioned the kind of challenge it'll be, and I'm gonna come right back to you on this one, Emily. It's Bwipo, right?
Yep.
If you choose to go that Enchanter pick into a player like Bwipo, then you are really taking yourself to task.
Farming. We're starting the Herald by ourselves. We're having complete topside control. I actually think that Bwipo's control of topside, this is from lock-in tournament, so we haven't necessarily seen that same control in his previous 2 games. However, he's still an incredibly strong top laner and definitely not someone that you want to give a absolutely free lane to.
Yeah, like both of these guys are just mad scientists in the top lane. The fact that we're seeing the Janna Karma come through from Kumo, and Kumo in general has been a player that's been more than willing to try picks that he sees value in solo queue, and then you're going up against Bwipo. And Bwipo is the type of person that he is just the science. Exactly. Yes, that was his Rengar build as his answer to the Akali tank top lane. And so there's that. There's the
personal favorite
GP. And everyone's like, okay, how many is he building? That one's really smart to see.
As many as he can.
It just keeps going, baby. And there's a lot that he was able to come in with a Hullbreaker on every champion. There was the Renekton, Tryndamere. It's seeing waves across the globe. And then for me, it was the Graves that was impactful, because when he tried that out, the lethality Graves, that started conversations globally. You're starting to see it in the LEC that people were going lethality Graves and really challenging the idea of just always going shield bow topside. And so it's interesting to see like his mindset coming back into the top lane and really just going back to being that thoughtful, smart, expanding the mind of top laners out there.
Well, and my question to you now, Raz, is, as the Hullbreaker pioneer, now that we're seeing Hullbreaker Graves everywhere, do you see it this game if he's on Graves?
I think so. It's actually kind of funny because we were watching the LPL game earlier today, just going through VODs, right? And you're just seeing Hullbreaker Graves versus Hullbreaker Tryndamere first item, and it's just becoming the meta.
Now, Ja, we were lucky enough to have Gil Hoto on the desk yesterday following their victory against Cloud9. We asked him about prep. Now, he more specifically was addressing the approach to Cloud9 because of some of the wonky stuff they had done. But I feel like, again, after FlyQuest game yesterday, that Ornn that you mentioned, it gets just as difficult to prep for this squad as well.
Yeah, and you can see how he ended this quote where he's saying, just pick late game versus them and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Now, I definitely saw this coming into the week, that there was a 2-0 C9 team they had to face that had played a bunch of Enchanters mid. Then they had a 2-0 FlyQuest team that had been the only team to place my top. So how do you split up your 4 practice days to prepare for both of these teams and hope to 2-0? I think he's going to pick scaling. Like, interestingly enough, I think that might be the best way to prepare. It's something he's done his whole career when he was a coach at Origin as well. That was something for the Immortals drafts he did last year as well. And I think his team is well suited for it. So I think this is the toughest possible prep week they could have had, but the answer might actually be pretty simple.
Well, and we've seen, even with a lot of, let's just say, mis-execution on some of these Smite tops for Enchanters, that, picking scaling is a good answer to trying to go toe-to-toe with that.
I simply want to know if FlyQuest remains undefeated.
I want to say yes, Dash.
But what are you going to say?
Yeah,
No.
but what are you going... Okay, thank you.
Do what you want, Raz.
I was trying to move quick, Raz, and you had to slow me down. Yes or no?
I'm going to chill. No.
I'm also going TL.
Oh my goodness. I've got faith in FlyQuest. The big,
FlyQuest is 3-0
the
on
big
the
environment and the small carbon footprint. They will come together to deliver a victory. Captain Flowers, Kobe, take it away.
All right, welcome back, everybody. What do you think? Can FlyQuest do it?
The big environment. I like that one.
The environment is huge
From
here at the LCS.
yesterday, Raz was touting it as like this ominous power. Here comes FlyQuest.
Dun, dun, dun.
The big environment. They're gonna take over the LCS. I hope that they do. You know.
Yeah.
Long live the environment. I want to see some turnover here. Honestly, though,
Too
it's
much
gonna be
concrete, metal,
really
and
difficult.
plastic.
We should really set some expectations here because Team Liquid are in such a very good position to try and knock down FlyQuest and take away their top spot. So while it is a cool story right now, if FlyQuest win this game, it means so much more because this adds a lot of validity on top of the work that FlyQuest have already laid. You know, the first couple of games with Smite top roamers being a little bit shaky for them there. So I wanted to boil it down to 3 champions specifically for this matchup to look at in your picks and bans. We've got the Zillion for Bjergsen. Obviously, that's going to be big number 1. But the 2 other most contested champions for this have got to be Jinx bottom lane and Xin Zhao for the jungle.
Okay.
By far, most played for both these junglers. And I think that puts Santorin actually in a very good position in the jungle matchup because he loves playing Trundle. And I feel like it is
you love Trundle in the Zen.
Such a good pick into it. So we will see if they make that trade. That would be the trade that I would want to make as TL coaching staff. Let FlyQuest have the early investment in a Xin Zhao pick. Then we get Santorin Trundle into it. You can pillar him. You can use your ultimate. But they lose out on the Jinx instead. And that will be very, very valuable. Hans Sama on Jinx has been godlike for them.
And I really like the fact that FlyQuest go for the Jinx first just because of what you're talking about right now. If you know you have those 2 priority picks and one has a pretty clear counter, why not go for the other one instead? FlyQuest will pick that up first. Your 6 bans, Gwen and Zeri still banned away on the red side. Karma, Kench, Thresh, lots of support type champion focus here. Caitlyn's going to be banned out too as Aphelios is locked in for TL and Hans.
And I want TL to lock in their bottom lane here and save jungle to see if FlyQuest will still take it on 2-3 here. Don't show Santorin's champion early. I think you can have a really good counter. Good. Okay, I love this. I love this. They also break up the Jinx Leona kill bottom lane. With Thresh and Tahm Kench both banned, Leona plus Jinx is very scary because you can go E into Q, stun, that locks them up enough time for Flame Chompers to activate and can be deadly for an Aphelios who does not have his own dash.
Well, the Jarvan is also still available. This continues to be a powerful, popular pick. It is also not as hard countered as Xin Zhao is by the Trundle, so that'll be locked in for Josedeodo and FlyQuest.
I think this is really good awareness by FlyQuest. They kind of sniff it out. They know TL are just dangling it up there. So many teams, we've seen all of these first pick Xin games. Really well maneuvered here by FlyQuest in the picks and bans, and they get themselves an all-arounder mid laner in 1-2-3 without having to show support. So FlyQuest could have some aphromoo tricks up their sleeve. There's definitely a reason they are saving support pick until the end of this draft. TL will get last laugh, but you expect them to use their final counter pick for a top lane for Bwipo instead. And so they theoretically should have to show everything first. So we'll see about that twist.
And Bjergsen on the Corki here. This champion's still incredibly powerful. Yes, package was nerfed. You don't have it available for all those neutral fights, but the rockets are still just as deadly as ever. The range is still incredible. The poke power. We know that it can also go for more of a traditional crit build if you need more DPS as opposed to just raw poke. So Bjergsen on that one is quite a problem to deal with in the mid lane as Rakan gets banned out by TL, Xin Zhao banned out by FlyQuest. They're saying, hey, we didn't want it, but we also don't want you to have it.
Exactly, because they've already locked in Jarvan, and they're not going to be the ones wielding the counter there. So, like the cover up here from FlyQuest, them having invested very heavily in Hard Engage 2 with the Jarvan plus Orianna combination means Team Liquid want to ban out other forms that will set that up. So I love the first 2 bans here from Team Liquid, Rakan and Nautilus. You don't want anything to be able to set up a Jarvan Orianna combination for the other team later, because that is going to be a Jinx reset on somebody. So good engagement support bans from Team Liquid, and aphromoo is going to have to dig deep.
You know what I call that Jarvan Orianna combo? is a shaker bottle, like you do with the protein shakes, because it's got the little ball in the thing. Jarvan builds the bottle. Orianna throws in the ball. Shake, shake, shake.
I was actually
going
to, as soon as you started guessing, I was going to think it was something drink related, but I thought it was going to be something more of an intoxicating drink. But I'm glad
shake
went
a bottle. This one you keep
went
healthy
with the healthy, the protein.
Yeah.
It's FlyQuest. You want to stay with the healthy theme.
Exactly. We're keeping.
We're all going to make it, brah.
Growth mindset. We're all going to make it, brah. All right, we got Xin and Lee banned out. The Trundle is locked in for TL, so they will take that one for themselves, and they're doing exactly what we expected. Leave Bwipo's pick for last. Let him have that counter pick guarantee.
Yeah, and so we finally get the reveal here on aphromooo's champ. TL have done a good job whittling down on the playmaking champions from him. Aphromoo has just been outstanding over the course of his career. This man has had one of the longest LCS careers of any player, and he's very versatile. You know, he's played so many enchanters, even at international events, kind of setting the trend. Has been recently very instrumental for FlyQuest with Engage, and now will be on the most defensive support in the game. Braum here, counter engage, protect Jinx, really robust team fight for FlyQuest, and they could add some spice to it here with the last pick for Kumo with blind, but you don't want to blind Aurelia here, so is going to be the Graves. So much better of a blind pick top laner, very hard to punish.
Well, let's see how Bwipo wants to approach it. Bwipo's a guy who's not afraid to get a little wild here in Champ Select. So I hope we get to see something fun here for this final pick. Red side, 5th pick. Where's the creativity? Where's the juice? What's it going to be for Bwipo here and Team Liquid? 1 second left to go. You want to lock this in? They do. Jayce versus Graves in the top lane.
Is that Jayce from Arcane?
OMG, bat chest.
Jayce
from
Powder?
Arcane. Jayce versus Powder, episode 11.
It's not exactly the juice we were looking for, but it is going to give them more poke. So there is reason behind the last pick here from Team Liquid, and they are banking on Jayce plus Corki here. Long range poke. There's no surprise. However, you're playing that into Jarvan Orianna. It just puts more emphasis on your shaker combination that you're looking at later, because that is going to be Fly's only aggressive combo. It means Jose has to have a good engage for this team to be able to pull it off, because if you're facing that much poke, if you're getting outranged, everything hinges on you closing the gap and finding the engagement for your team.
The first try.
Exactly. You don't get a redo.
No.
Aphromoo will try and jump in with the Unbreakable. Braum can try and follow up on some of these setups, but because the ultimate is delayed, does not work as a main initiation and is mostly defensive or follow-up.
Plus, I mean, once Jarvan goes in, if the engage is wrong, if they're able to immediately disengage it, it's tough for him to get back out and survive that ranged punishment. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Jose must lead the charge correctly. It's a tall task for FlyQuest, but hey, they're undefeated so far. If they take down Team Liquid here, that'll be so impressive for this team.
Certainly will be. Can't wait to get in there. Definitely a risky little bit of business here, passing the torch of engagement from Aphro over to Jose, but Jose will also have some early options, so see what he can get done on the Jarvan. Jarvan's got so many more avenues you can gank with than the Trundle, can get a lot more creative with his EQ combination. So we'll see if they maybe try and mix up some stuff on the bottom side, you know, try and subvert some expectations there, as Eyla and Hansama definitely have done well for themselves in this season. I mean, a lot of questions were circling. Some of the only questions around TL's success were about when. You know, when will CoreJJ get in? When will we see the real success? But it's definitely a testament to Eyla's ability that he's come in, fit seamlessly with the team, and been, you know, one of the big points of power.
And to be fair, I think it is totally reasonable for people to wonder, hey, is TL going to be okay without CoreJJ? Because the guy is so instrumental in pretty much everything he's a part of. He's a leader, he's a playmaker, he's the kind of guy that just does everything. And to not have that available is pretty intimidating. But Eyla stepped up beautifully, man. The guy had big shoes to fill, but he must also have some big feet.
Yeah, it's funny because earlier during the analyst test, you were joking. It sounded like Raz, when he was talking up Bwipo, was creating a Tinder profile for Bwipo with the accolades he was throwing on him.
Oh yeah.
Now I feel like you're doing the same for CoreJJ.
Hey,
but
man.
he's married, so he's taken.
Credit where credit is due. If the boys are popping off, you gotta appreciate it.
Yeah, hype them up, baby. Gas them up.
Always gas up your friends. Always. But Santorin's here clearing out from that top side of the jungle. He'll be moving to the bottom side. You'll see Jose doing the same thing. Mid lane's not going to have a whole lot of action here early on, man. It's Corki versus Orianna. We're just going to be farming up, pretty much handshaking on that one. Top side here, teleport available for both. Kumo with the fleet footwork there on Graves. Stay nice and sustained against Bwipo. Bottom side, Johnsun and Afro have control over the wave.
And you can see already, Santorin wants to play off this Leona. Whenever you have the advantage here in offensive playmaking, he wants to transfer down to the bottom side of the map as quickly as possible. So he goes red into Raptors into Gromp. This is the quickest level 3 that you can have towards bottom half of the map without leaving a buff exposed. So you cover both of them. He's down on blue side, hits his level 3, back onto the blue buff here, and he's got the options between one of the very common pathways that he has chosen towards this Dragon River.
Okay, both our junglers are around here. Santorin will be first to the scene, using the sweeper, not finding any wards, any vision, any protection set up from the side of FlyQuest. Jose's not down here yet either. He's still just deciding to clear out more camps. He's over at the Raptors. Santorin's not going to get a whole lot out of being down here. He won't find any wards. Jose's going to move towards this crab, but Santorin's already here.
This is the
Easy.
benefit of trying to read this play, though, for FlyQuest. So Jose will just turn right back up towards top side of the map, and both of them will just return to finish out their camps. Early pass avoided. You could see it in the play, the positioning from Johnsun and aphromoo. It's quite obvious as far as the route that he's taking. You want to play off this lane. They read it just as well as we read it. You could see him by going for the zap on the cannon instead of stepping up. They don't want to expose themselves. So well done by both squads.
And you can see there, they used the Scryer's Bloom. Jose knew that there was a ward there in the Tri-Brush, so just wanted to use his EQ combo to get to that and clear that out a little bit faster. Boy, getting ganked here in mid. Santorin throws down the pillar. Bjergsen adds a little bit of extra damage, but honestly, toucouille barely loses any HP, doesn't even have to think about using the flash to get away.
Yep, this is highlighting one of the points we're about to talk about. Phase Rush, always so insanely good versus Trundle. The movement speed plus the slow reduction. Take that pillar down from a scary ganking tool to slight inconvenience.
Especially for these ranged champions, because, I mean, aside from the pillar, Trundle just runs at you, right? So it's very easy to just slap him upside the head 3 times while he's running up, and then, okay, you got Phase Rush, see you and your stupid pillar later, bye.
True. I mean, I hate to admit it as a fellow Trundle lover, but it is kind of easy to slap him upside the head.
Hey, as a fellow run-at-you guy, I've been slapped upside the head many a time from a Phase Rush mid laner. It's just the nature of the game. Bwipo with the flash away. Josedeodo doing a good job forcing that summoner spell here in top.
Yeah, good cooldown burn. They also have the deeper vision on this side with Scuttle Crab and the ward on entry towards mid that toucouille was able to place before proccing Phase Rush and evading the Trundle gank. From that point on, you can tell the perfect Trundle pillars are the ones that actually get that knockup.
Yes.
So in the previous one, because of Fade Rush and the extra move speed, Santorin tried to place it a little bit in front, and it only gets in front of them, doesn't get the little mini bump, in which case the Orianna can just completely avoid it because you've also got the slow reduction. But if you can get the perfect placement on the champion, pixel perfect there to get also the slight knock back from having the pillar directly under them, those are the great Trundle pillars. And the ones that go even above and beyond that are the ones that pin you against the wall.
Oh, those ones are so tough.
Those are the ones that literally make your opponents rage in all chat that it's a bug or something because
OMG,
they've been able to...
WTF, I'm stuck on pillar, question mark ping until the ping won't work anymore. There's a lot of tilt that comes from those.
Yeah, they start flaming riot. Like, what is this? How can you pin me against the wall here with this stupid ability?
It's supposed to slow you down, not get you stuck.
Yeah.
But in some places, it is supposed to get you stuck.
Yeah, those are the ones that are most dangerous. We'll see. Santorin definitely an expert at the champion. We'll see if he can come out with some of those later and display them for us. But currently, Wave pushing against them. Hovers down here just for the backup.
Exactly.
They know they've got the control ward there in a river, so it's a little bit dangerous. So just playing around that fog of war. Hansama, switch over to your Infernum. Immediately clear out that wave.
Yep. It's just one of those plays where you're not trying to make a dive. There's no world where you're going to go for that play. You just need to make sure that wave can get pushed in far enough. As Bjergsen is level 6 here in mid, so is toucouille. Top side, those solo laners doing the same thing. Kumo at about half HP. Bwipo with a lot more health to work with here, but of course, the level 6 is more meaningful for Graves because he gets a big addition to his burst with the ulti, whereas Jayce just doesn't get a new skill. So generally if one person gets something and the other guy doesn't get something, hey, the guy that got something feels better.
Definitely true. I always like to get something. Don't like to walk away empty-handed. Meanwhile, I gotta also say, touching on this matchup, the Jayce, while Bwipo is playing very aggressively, doesn't even have a jungler here. These are the types of plays that you get from Bwipo that CoreJJ and his teammates are talking about when, you know, Bjergsen's in the interview like, I love the unexpected wild card aspect that Bwipo brings to the team. You know, going for these aggressive plays. Sometimes when you bluff, you get rewarded. Sometimes you get punished, though.
Exactly.
If he's
Kumo's going to step up. Bwipo knows he has health advantage here. Santorin's coming up, so they will get a 2v2 at least. Santorin level 5. Jose is level 6. Kumo only 200 HP. All right, he'll get back away. Santorin, he's not really afraid of Jose, but a couple of factors play into this. Number one is the obvious, level 6 for Jose, so you want to respect the jungler ultimate difference here, but also I like the respect paid to support roam timers. As you just had a recall on bottom side, and that's one of the times where you get to see pro comms take place, where the restraint is so apparent when you put it next to Bwipo's previous play. You know, he goes in for this big chunk onto Kumo, very aggressive, didn't even have vision on enemy jungle. But this time around, the restraint is actually shown. They don't go for the overplay and don't give up anything extra. Support roam timers won't actually result in any deaths or even any deep vision this time around. And as we're talking about timers, of course, the blue buffs are now coming up for the second time this game, which means the mid laners are going to be past those, so plenty of extra wave clear and spell spam potential for these two. The gold difference between the two teams is non-existent. The last game we casted, remember, it was 100 Thieves up almost 1,000 gold just from the state of laning. But here in this one, FlyQuest and Team Liquid are very evenly matched without plays being made by either side.
And I think that Team Liquid are pretty happy because they've got a lot of scaling range options. Let's take a look at this Rift Herald fight, though, because look at the AD carries. Both of them coming up. This is going to be a full pit.
Jose tried to go in. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes out. Josedeodo only at 300 HP, and it's first blood over to Eyla. FlyQuest trying to back out now, but Han Sama's ready to go. Red, white, time to fight. Flashes back out. The Rift Herald Eye is on the ground. Team Liquid cannot acquire that one. The Herald was slain by FlyQuest, but they can't get there to take the prize. Santorin's still hanging around long enough to try to keep it protected. Nobody from FlyQuest can get it. The Rift Herald is nullified.
I know everybody wants to look at, you know, where the kills go, but I love highlighting front lines. And playing frontline well early means getting that engage and still getting out. Watch how Eyla plays this on the Leona. So first objective is trying to get the smite and the eyeball auto attack on Rift Herald. Jose flashes back to get over there. Rift Herald dropping, both AD carries heading up. They turn around. It is smited barely, and Eyla gets the kill, able to get out of danger as well in the aftermath. And because both AD carries head up, it does, you know, because Hansama walks on the Chompers, cost him his flash to get back out, but very well done there by Team Liquid. They don't get the last hit onto the Herald, but they do get the kill, which means they deny the pickup of it and can still reset down to bottom side and get Dragon.
Exactly. The Herald was worth little more than a couple of minions worth of gold, and the Dragon going over to TL feels good to have that Infernal for a bit of extra damage here. It will be Ocean as our second Dragon of the game. Not a super early Drake take here, so it's not like we're going to be in one of those game states with a super early soul pressure. But again, you already pointed out right before the fight, TL's fine scaling up. They're not afraid of a long game when you have champions like Corki, like Aphelios. The range is key.
Yeah, definitely key. It's just it's one of the most influential stats later on because it allows you so many things. Set up for objectives, possibilities of poke damage. You can earn advantages just by hitting skill shots before the engagement even happens. But that's why we focus in on Champ Select. So much weight will be on the shoulders of Jose this game for FlyQuest. When you're facing a poke comp with Jayce and Corki trying to scale up to their range advantages, then it's all about finding that flank angle, finding that engagement with Jarvan. He's the one with the gap closer. Him trying to deliver an Orianna shockwave is the win con there for FlyQuest, because they've got great all-in 5v5. But you do have to close that distance so that you don't get poked out before it happens. And here he goes.
Jose goes in. Hansama has no flash to escape the Cataclysm and the death that follows thereafter. 1 kill over to FlyQuest. Looking to make it 2, but Eyla is too tanky. Santorin's here, not in time to save his AD carry, but in time to make sure that Eyla doesn't just get dove. They will back away. First plate already gonna fall. FlyQuest wants to stick around and take a second as well. Nice kill picked up with a bit of extra gold in their pockets too. Santorin approaches the wave yet again, trying to protect the plate. Johnsun needs a little bit more damage for those minions. There we go, they're gonna pick that one up.
So far, you know, high rating here for Jose. He's getting gold stars already because his eyes are attracted to the no summoner, no escape Aphelios.
Yep. This is exactly what we were talking about last game with the Ezreal getting drafted when they saw the Jarvan. When you're up against Jarvan, having something other than a flash to get away feels so much better.
It really just feels like perfect timing there. You know, it's very pertinent as far as we're hyping him up for the team play for FlyQuest. You can tell his mind is already in the correct place. Good kill for them. You know, good advantages earned by taking some turret plates as well. And he wins on the smite versus Jayce. Easy to walk up. No hope for Bwipo trying to execute that Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
No longer a jungler himself.
Can't really fight the smite. It just doesn't work out too well unless you're, you know, hyper late game, 1000 AP, one-shot YouTube thumbnail tier.
Zoe from like full range with a paddle star coming in.
Okay, that one could do it. That one could do it.
Like
but
old AP Gragas would steal Barons all the time.
Man, old AP Gragas. I remember that one. That was
those late game mages. They have a tendency to make junglers look bad, but it's not our fault, okay? The combos can scale crazy.
We only have one button. They have multiple buttons, right?
Yeah.
It's a button difference. Anyway, we got an 800 gold lead here for the side of Team Liquid. Only 1 kill on both teams here so far. Nobody trying to be super aggro early.
And it went to Eyla because the Ignite was sticking down.
Yeah.
He was the one who got the kill credit. So, yeah, kills kind of resident sleeper there on the side for TL, but that's what they want. They want to wake up when their Corki's got at least 2 core. Looking for 2 core plus 3 is where he really starts to shine. Those rockets really hurt. And Bwipo is here also trying to get to that 2 core. Once he can get his Muramana transformed, that's when the Jayce really starts to deal the pain. But honestly, he's dealing the damage already to Kumo.
Kumo walked right back into that shock blast. It looked like it was going to miss, but good prediction there from Bwipo. And now Ayla's ready to go. He leads the way with a solar flare. Flashes it. He missed R. He missed E. It doesn't matter. Flash auto there with a stun and ignite.
Exactly. He didn't complete the yellow star because he landed a Q. So you can land the auto attack melee range Q. Good enough.
All right, it made it happen. That's the second kill of the game here for TL. That one will go over to Bwipo, so they've got it on one of the carries this time. Johnsun keeps trying to apply some pressure here to the top side, keeping these waves shoved in. Has nobody near him, but he's not worried right now. Again, they saw the play just get made on the opposite side of the map, so he knows he at least has time to clear out most of this wave before he has to back away. But we are seeing a teleport come in. Maybe Johnsun doesn't have time after all. Bjergsen's over the wall. Package delivery there. Checks the brush after they use the blue trinket. They know that he has to be nearby, and easy money for Bjergsen.
Peekaboo, Bjergsen sees you. Another kill picked up for TL. No longer are these resident sleeper kills either, Flowers. These are kills going on to their poke champions, going on to their long range scaling. Bjergsen gets one with the package. His Muramana is close to transforming here.
And you can see that that kill was also so well timed because it gave him a free herald. And double and squared. They get the eyeball. That didn't happen in the last one.
That's a way better deal.
Damn fine deal. I will take that deal. toucouille separated from the rest of the team there by a solar flare, but he doesn't get caught out by anything. FlyQuest are able to stay alive through that. Rift Herald used here in mid lane. Almost gets the tier 1 turret, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Things still standing with about 10% HP, and Team Liquid keeps the pressure on here in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's definitely mounting here for FlyQuest. FlyQuest gonna have to start making some money moves quick here. That 3-0 is getting very tenuous. TL have 1,000 gold lead, 2 dragons, plus really strong late game options here with range and an Aphelios. Even if you do get close for that engage, Hansama will make you think twice about jumping in with the Cataclysm, because if he's able to avoid the Shockwave follow-up, he will just kill Jose. So there are so many things for FlyQuest to worry about later.
Oh no, Josedeodo, he threw the flag right in front of him, so he didn't get the knock up there onto Bjergsen. Tries to find a little bit more damage, he Cataclysms in. Bjergsen gets away there with a flash. Jose getting the summoner spell out. Ooh, that was a close rocket.
Yeah, that would have been big for Johnsun to be able to try and cash in on that. They do get away with just the flash off of Bjergsen exchange here for the side of TL, though. So TL are very happy. They continue to count their blessings. More money mid lane, funneled into Hansama, gets the turret. They open up the map a little bit. Bjergsen has to play a little bit more cautiously, to be fair, and does have now the 5-minute window between package pickups. So without the flash and without the package in sight, is going to be the vulnerable target. So he just has to keep in mind Jose's positioning. Jose is the lone champion that makes those aggressive plays on the side of FlyQuest. So as long as they track him and stay safe for at least the timer to get package, TL will be very happy with their scaling options.
And FlyQuest continue trying to find whatever they can. This top lane pressure seems to be a recurring theme in this game. You saw Johnsun pushing that up before he got picked off by the teleport from Bjergsen.
Yeah.
Kumo's back up here now trying to get it shoved up. But when we compare the farm of these top laners, it's Bwipo up about 5 waves.
Yeah, and he's up a whole level here on Kumo. Kumo now just 12 is Bwipo 13. So levels play a really big part in League of Legends, even bigger early on, because the stats, just the base stats you get, but later as well as we're transitioning, this is gonna be a tiny bit of harassment. Once Bwipo's able to get his recall off, he can finish his Manamune, and then it's almost ready to transform as well. 321 closing in on that 360 mark, and that's where we really start to see TL on this comp shine.
Okay, Team Liquid, they might have to deal with a FlyQuest play here as Josedeodo is moving in. toucoulle's ready. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with, though. So Santorin flashing away, stays safe on that one. Meanwhile, up in the top side, it's a 1v1. It's Bwipo winning out on that one right now as Kumo puts the burst on him, but not enough. Down to 150 HP. Kumo tries to fall back, but Bwipo, okay, he doesn't want to go point-blank range against the Graves next to a wall.
Exactly. If you flash that wall, yes, you have lethal damage, but you're right into the end of the line. And so you're face planting into the kill. This is one where he pulls back.
Ooh, okay. Jose trying to make the play there, ends up losing his own flash for it. Hansama not afraid with Eyla right next to him.
All right, I want to hone in on FlyQuest here because they're the ones with a lot of pressure mounting. With endgame options for Team Liquid looking so promising, they need to take advantage with aggressive plays on these flashless members. Bjergsen and Santorin now, no flashes on either of these members. FlyQuest gotta get aggressive here because TL are winning this game and FlyQuest's undefeated record is in jeopardy.
Of course, for Bjergsen, it is difficult because of Valkyrie being such an easy escape mechanism against the Cataclysm. It's one of those things that they'll have to be aware. If they can get that cooldown and then make the Cataclysm play, that could be their angle. When you look at Santorin, when you look at Hansama, when you look at Eyla, all of these players do not have an escape for the Cataclysm built into the kit. So that's what I'm looking for from Jose. The next Drake alive in a minute. It would be the sole point Drake for the side of Team Liquid, but does FlyQuest have the opportunity to fight for it? Are they confident to take a team fight in open ground with a 2,000 gold deficit?
Whether or not you are ready, you've got to go for it, I feel like.
Okay.
The game is getting very tenuous for them. That Muramana transformation #1 has come in for Bwipo, and Bjergsen just completed his as well. Those things do so much damage. I love this item. I try and incorporate it into any sort of scaling build that I can get on any junglers. But it's much better served on solo laners because they can actually transform it early, as we can see here. Now we want to see them actually use, though, because it will be TL. You need to get there early to try and get your poke damage out, get in position, and then you see them play a little hesitant. You want to actually make the most out of your range, throw out your rockets, your shock blasts, see if you can get some chunks down early onto FlyQuest, which puts a lot of pressure on them. They know Jose's got to find an angle. He has to get in there for the Cataclysm Shockwave combination. To crack this poke composition. and close the range onto Corki, onto Jayce.
And it's so tough because, I mean, back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, you don't get a second try. If you go in and it's screwed up, they have the flashes, they get away or whatever, Jose is pretty much dead to rights. There's not really a whole lot you can do to stop that from happening. Bjergsen now finding Kumo here in the bottom lane. Package delivery trying to cut him off. Santorin's ready to go too. Drops the subjugation, and there it is. Bjergsen picking up kill number 4 of the game for TL.
I'm going from cautiously optimistic, trying to hype him up, to disappointed, Flowers.
Yeah?
Yeah, because that was just lazy. You know, this is Dragon 3. They're going to go for Soul Point. They literally just had a giant dragon screaming on the rift because it was killed, okay? So you've got no business there. You can hear the giant alert from Package. Like, turn on the audio. You know they're going for this objective. You know the package is picked up, and FlyQuest get punished. So TL, well, I'm disappointed in FlyQuest. TL are so happy to see that. They're like, you know what? We are cruising. 4 minutes left on the Soul to arrive. Push there on top side on the last outer turret for themselves. All they have to do now, look towards mid.
No. aphromoo is going to get caught here in the middle. Josedeodo coming back around. Eyla might just die first, but he stays alive there through the shielding. Last rocket finds him. Now can Johnsun get excited enough to get any more? No, he's not excited. He's dead. Bwipo picking up the kill on that one. 1 for 1 here in mid lane with the enemy AD carry down. Team Liquid feels they've won this fight pretty easily. They'll keep moving forward. Bwipo going for some snipes, looking for the damage here. Can't quite find enough just yet. Bwipo goes in, Bwipo gets 1, Bwipo goes down. 2 for 2 team fight.
Another Bwipo moment. I love these. I want to collect as many as they make, Flowers.
You want to collect some Bwipo moment trading cards?
Yes,
that's
I do.
what we need.
Give me all the Bwipo moment collectibles, because this is what Team Liquid needed. Throughout the history of this organization, they have had a tendency to get slow, to get lethargic in some of the games when you watch them play. Yes, they get wins, but they need that wild card, that excitement factor. And when you see him get the kill on Johnsun, he gains red buff. When he gains red buff, he gains the regeneration, but he also gains the slow on his auto attack, and that's why he goes for the kill. Anyways, you know the outset of this engagement. They traded on the front line of there. Eyla gets knocked down, but Bwipo comes in. That's a shock blast with Muramana. Did you see how much damage that does? That was almost 500 damage with the empowered shock blast. And then he's like, I have red buff. Look at this. Look at this. I'm flashing on these guys. Even with the shock blast not landing on Grape there, he went for the kill.
We're right back into this, though. It's another play being made and another death for Eyla. FlyQuest picking him off there. But what else can they get? A single kill onto a support is not enough at this point in the game. I want to see FlyQuest be able to find more, but it doesn't look like they're in any condition to do so.
Yeah, that one was getting a little sus there. TL engaged with Bjergsen bottom. He's got Unleashed Teleport, but that thing still takes a while to channel. So if you go for the immediate engagement there, FlyQuest find themselves with an opening in front of them, and they've got to push it to the limits. What can they get out of this opportunity? Eyla's down, so you get an objective, you get the mid turret. That is very, very valuable. And trying to funnel some money here onto the carries, and they go for it.
We're not done! Josedeodo! They pull back Bwipo. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Bjergsen coming in. There's that Unleashed Teleport. toucouille might just get locked down now. The rockets are flying in. aphromoo doing his best to protect with the Unbreakable. Bjergsen has to get right back out as Kumo's not able to get enough damage to finish off either target. Hans Sama flashes over the wall. Kumo still in hot pursuit. Hans gets away for now. Zap does not find Bjergsen. He'll escape as well.
You hate to see it. When it's a Cloud Dragon Rift, these rings of speed, even if you flash after him, it's a little bit late because Bjergsen already made it onto the speed, and there's a big differential because you're not on that Cloud speed yet, so he's just going to get further and further away. Flashing for the Zap there isn't able to find anything, and that's an important flash, Flowers. Jinx flash late game, that thing is gold.
Let's take another look at how the fight happened here as TL stepped forward and Jose went in.
This is so necessary. We keep talking about how much pressure is on FlyQuest to make these plays. The flash fall up there from the ultimate as well from aphromoo trying to find it, but regardless of that, it is still the 1-for-1. And so Bjergsen going forward here from Team Liquid is the only thing that gives FlyQuest another opening. They're so happy to take this. He jumps in against the wall. Then is what I'm talking about with that Cloud speed. On your screen right now, this extra speed is what allowed Bjergsen to walk his way out, didn't die to the flash zap, and FlyQuest are left without a huge amount of comeback off of that play. But those are the openings that they need to punish to the fullest
Well, here they go. Bjergsen, he's caught out. He's shut down. That is what FlyQuest needed, and Jose barely survives. Nicely done.
Time and time again, we talk about Jose, so much on his shoulders. He has to be the one to win this game for FlyQuest. He finds another engagement onto the flashless carry. They take down Bjergsen. No rockets to worry about for this sole fight.
But the important part is, their jungler is the one that had 50 HP left. Jose had to go back and reset, so now he still has to make his way back over to the fight. They can't start the Drake up with the enemy jungler nearby, and theirs not there. FlyQuest with Jose coming back out. They've got control over the river. They'll deny the soul.
Exactly. They know that they've won the objective off of that play from Jose. Because of the teleport being used last time around as well, no summoner spells for Bjergsen. Even if he got back up, he wouldn't be able to get down there, so no use in TL trying to delay even this objective. Jose comes up clutch when FlyQuest need him most.
And we are going to have to see more and more and more of it, too.
And the follow-up has to be done by toucouille, and he's doing his part of the two-part combination of Jarvan Orianna. This man is getting fed. He's invested in full spell penetration here. Shadow Flame flat penetration plus Sorc Shoes on top of the Void Staff here means even with little magic resist purchase, Bjergsen now has one no magic mantle. He's full penetration, so these shockwaves, level 16, with as much magic penetration as you can get, that power behind the engagement from Jose is going to be there. He's got 3 of the kills to his name, and he's trying to fund it as best he can. That's the hopes for FlyQuest. It's still going to be difficult because every 5 minutes you have to repeat these
It's tough, man.
pressure scenarios where the soul comes up and Baron's going to be on the table, so TL have the upper hand. They've got all these options with objectives, and they've got this poke coming at you, and so you don't get many chances at getting that engaged. But if you make the most of the chances that you get, and you can be rewarded, as we just saw.
Well, I'm looking at the flash timers on the side of Team Liquid. Hans Sama, Bjergsen, and Santorin are all about 3/4 of the way back to having that flash ready. That's about, what, 1 minute and 15 seconds or so? So that's going to be another big problem here for FlyQuest. Yes, Jose likes to have his own flash. It gives you a little bit more playmaking, but it's more important that the enemy flashes are down. So then the job becomes much more complicated. You've got to be able to either just kill them immediately, like you're talking about with toucouille's build, full spell pin, just make sure they die, or you're going to have to bait the flashes, back up, regroup, and then do it again for real once the ulti's ready again.
Yeah. All right, let's see if they can do it. FlyQuest, step number 1, trying to fight the Vision Wars, setting up over the Baron, because 3 minutes on Dragon means you have to reallocate all of your Vision resources. All of your control wards being implemented here on Baron. Those are really your only advantage. When you're the team that's outrange, you're like, all right, our biggest advantage, fog of wars. If they can't see our Jarvan coming, that's the best chances we can do
Just
to set
jump
up.
out and surprise.
Yeah, exactly, that we can set Jose up. And so Jose's going to be a brush camper. He's walking around, he's trying to get these angles down. Meanwhile, TL push out on bottom side. They make the most of, Bwipo is Unleashed Teleport ready, pushes out bottom side, gets his recall off, purchase. He gets his Guardian Angel flowers.
Okay.
This is so bad for FlyQuest. Now, you have to get onto Bjergsen. You have to get onto either Bjergsen or Hans Sama, and you know if you're going onto Hans Sama, he's going to have damage, so you better land the CC or he will kill you anyway. Meanwhile, Bwipo is going to feel confident here with GA for the fight. One of the biggest game-changing, fight-changing items that you can have for a single fight. Being able to get right back up as a poke champion also serves so many options here for the team fights, because as long as you spread out your poke champions and your damage dealers, then you can just refocus.
And it's so good against an all-in comp as well. Guardian Angel passive is one of those things that can either make or break a fight or be utterly worthless, right? If you're up against a poke comp and you just randomly get shot to pieces and die, well, it doesn't matter because they're probably just going to clean you up anyway. But in this all-in situation where they must commit, they must put themselves in danger to even have a chance of killing you, it just feels like the opportunity to make those plays based around the Guardian Angel is almost guaranteed.
You can tell Bwipo, as soon as he lands a slow from his grudge there, is threatening chasing Kumo down. He's 2 levels up on Kumo now, constant pushing power from him. So not only is the 4-item Jayce level 18 going to bring a lot to the side lanes, but as we've been hyping up, if you properly set up your ranged champions, in a kind of semicircle, then you'll see them be able to focus fire the same target, but also spread. So if the...
Oh!
2v1.
Kumo tries to get away. Bwipo and Bjergsen putting a lot of damage into him. Not quite enough to get the kill. Bwipo's Immortal Shield Bow keeping him, or Kumo's Immortal Shield Bow, excuse me, keeping him safe from Bwipo as he tries to bring in the backup there. Tried to make it happen, just not quite enough burst power between those two. Still a 7-6 game for the side of TL. 2,000 gold up, 20 seconds on the Drake. It's still sole point for Team Liquid.
Flowers, how sad of a scenario is it if you invest in a split pushing item, Hull Breaker, and you can't split push?
Feels bad.
That's a little bit of a frowny face over there.
Big frowny face.
Don't get to play what you purchased.
And it looks like FlyQuest are just going to give away the soul this time. They're saying, okay, we can't stop it. We don't have the positioning. Cloud Soul is not worth inting a team fight and giving away a Baron. Happy Lux coming out from FlyQuest just saying, all right, it's cool, don't worry about it. But unfortunately, this does enable some new things here for the side of Team Liquid. Trundle can drop the ulti, run at you like crazy. Leona doing the same thing. There's a lot of potential here with this soul. Now let's see how TL is going to play the rest of it. They've got the siege set up here in mid. It is a 5-man effort. They're backing away. Bjergsen still has package, but I believe it will be expiring soon.
Yeah. And we've actually had a couple of games where we've ended up in this scenario where the one team has a big range advantage.
Oh
my God. But
Corki rockets.
But these are not unexpected. We've been talking about this for 15 minutes, setting up this possibility. And props to Team Liquid for getting themselves there. Now is a moment of truth.
Okay.
Baron is started up. They'll burn it down. They've got early positioning on the objective, and FlyQuest time is running out.
Josedeodo already used the flag in the pixel brush. There's no way for them to engage, and the Baron goes over to Team Liquid. They're going to drop down the Leona ulti. Solar Flare doesn't find much, but Eyla's still going in. The rest of the team is not close behind him. He uses that stasis to try to stay alive.
Okay.
He'll get away for now. Bwipo's going to find toucouille off the side. aphromoo already dead. Bjergsen taking the kill on that as Bwipo stays safe, getting himself away. Sama looking for the snipes. They're going to find toucouille. There goes your Guardian Angel on Bwipo. Santorin leads the charge and takes a big old bite out of powder. There's your 3 kills for 1. Team Liquid gets Baron in a team fight.
Yeah, they're going to be walking all over Summoner's Rift like they've been walking all over FlyQuest. Flowers. This one's going to be a game ender. 5,000 gold. Dragon Soul. Baron on the split pusher as well. Bwipo's back out to bottom side. They're not going to leave any area open for FlyQuest right through the front door.
Here we go. FlyQuest, they're at least getting some of these players respawning, but the siege machine continues from TL. Now going to be forced to back away as they can clear out the waves. Sama just puts a couple more shots into Kumo on his way out.
As we said, though, Bwipo recalled, went back into split pushing duty, so he shoves the wave in. TL can reset. They get all their extra money, even taking away Krugs. And here's another look at it. They just burn this Baron down so quickly. FlyQuest then, this is where it gets exciting. This is where you want to see, some of the effect of these team fights. Engagement immediately from Eyla into the Zhonyas, creating so much space. And they chunk down Afro in that timer. But the cool part is, on the sectioned off fight, when they focus down Bwipo, he's got the luxury of that GA. Never mind, we are back out to action.
Eyla gonna get popped. He's caught out here in the mid lane. And the other thing that I wanted to point out in that replay that we just saw, the reason that Eyla went in and nobody else could follow, they were respecting the toucouille ultimate. They did not want to walk into a 3-man Orianna ulti. And now that Eyla's down again, this is a really nice sign for FlyQuest because Eyla's dead for 28 seconds. Baron's only around for another 50 seconds. You're removing the pressure of their 5-man Baron plays for a lot of that remaining time.
Yeah, you get to delay it now. The rest of this Baron timer should tick out before Eyla gets there, but TL's plan remains the same. They're going to group up, push out one lane with Bwipo first, have him join the team. Never mind, he'll just shock blast your carry.
That shock blast took 3/4 of Johnsun's health, and the follow-up there has toucouille and aphromoo both nearly dead as well. FlyQuest heads for the hills, and Team Liquid heads for the mid lane turret.
They want to make these extra 17 seconds count with this Baron. They're going to get right up to that inhibitor turret. That thing will melt.
There it goes. The inhibitor itself will quickly join. Okay, Team Liquid, oh my goodness gracious, how do you even play against this?
Best stat in the game, Flowers.
Range.
Damage has flooded in. This is the cautionary tale that we start telling 10 minutes in, the power of the poke. And Team Liquid are getting the most out of it. Here we go. Can they finish it, though? They've got Johnsun down. There's no Jinx on the side of FlyQuest, so it would be a miracle team fight if FlyQuest can pull this out.
Pedal to the metal. Team Liquid keeping it moving forward down the top lane next. Minion wave's about to crash in, and I expect Team Liquid to go full forward on top of that one. There's your next kill with both carries down. This is surely the end of the game and the end of FlyQuest's winning streak. Team Liquid have their number. They got it all figured out. Josedeodo tries to buy some time. They're at least going to get the kill onto Hansama. Kumo dies. He tries to flash right back into the spawn platform. Johnsun respawns, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Not in time, not today. They are at least grabbing a kill there onto Bwipo. Bjergsen getting himself back as they continue to put the damage here into the Nexus. Bjergsen and Santorin will do it. Team Liquid ends the FlyQuest winning spree.
Nicely set up there, even from draft for Team Liquid. FlyQuest, they make a gambit. They go for third pick in the first round of Orianna instead of securing an engaged champion for aphromoo, who has been the premier playmaker for that team. And getting those engagements. And engage is the most critical thing that you need against the poke composition. There were some good plays in the middle of the game from Jose. They got a couple of good picks, and you could see the light that could be there if you can make those plays consecutively and reliably. And yet, Team Liquid, they're able to farm out this game. They scale up. Bwipo played so well in the side lane.
Yep.
Split pushing advantage for him. Also then bringing his Transformer Armada to the rest of the team, finding his Shock Blast when they're grouping up to gain those advantages. Well played there by Team Liquid. They avoided enough of the engages and overwhelmed.
Right, and you're talking about Bwipo. Those Shock Blasts did so much, chunking out in the mid lane. Like, we saw those skirmishes where it's like, holy cow, man, half the HP's just gone. And then even at the very end, the kill onto Johnsun in the mid lane as the inhibitor got taken, you could tell they weren't expecting that, and then that just led to the situation where now FlyQuest is stuck 4v5. There's no way to defend. Even without Baron, that wave is crashing in, and Team Liquid's crashing into you.
Yeah, Team Liquid definitely well executed from them. They've used Corki a lot as well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we get some changes.
If something's busted, play it.
Either to the game or to some of the strategies here to go for some more avenues. Because I'm a little tired of seeing Rockets two-shot carries later.
Now look, hey, I'm tired of it as well. But if it gets you the LP, you play it. These are the lessons we've all learned here in League of Legends. We're gonna head over to the State Farm Analyst desk now to break down the game with special guest Vulcan.
Thank you very much, gents. That's right. We are joined by EG's Vulcan here to help break down this game. And you'll also be joining myself and the Tigers a bit later in the day on the Bud Light League Lounge for some beer pong. Let's dive straight into it. I actually want to kick off by asking a question that's related to kind of the way that we preface this game, which was citing Gilhoto in terms of the difficulty of prep for the week that they had in front of them, not only with facing Cloud9 and some of the wonkiness that they had thrown out, but also taking a look at this FlyQuest team, who is the first to bring the Enchanters out into the top lane in the LCS, but as we can see here, also very willing to forego that and go elsewhere. What's been your experience so far in evaluating how to prep for all of the different teams in the LCS?
Yeah, it's been rough. I mean, especially those teams you just mentioned, C9, like what we did against them. They totally surprised us with this rocket pick, and we kind of knew they were going to go for Enchanters. We banned some of them, but there aren't enough bans to ban all
too
the
many.
There's too many of them. So yeah, I mean, they're tough teams to play against, and I feel like Fly is definitely the best Enchanter top team. So yeah, but since TL is red side against Fly, I think it's much easier to play into it because you have the option to just save your last pick. If they pick an Enchanter, you pick something like Trundle, or we saw Tristana in Champions Queue a bit where they just go straight down the side lane and try to get every turret possible. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to prep against, but I feel like TL getting red side they can do it.
So for as much as we maybe wanted to see TL have to go up against the Enchanter top lane Raz, we didn't get it this time around.
Yep.
But we did very much have a bit of a contest between Bwipo and their top lane, at least in the early game. Lots of pressure applied by him, but I think that's ties so well to your point going into this matchup about the kind of player that he is, particularly on a team like Team Liquid, where he feels like a catalyst for action.
Yes.
And that comes pretty much straight from the mouth of Bjergsen.
He's definitely a person that pushes the limits consistently. You can see that from later on in the game where he's ahead, so of course at times he can die. But what's underappreciated is understanding like when it's not his turn. When his team is doing something well, of course they had great dragon setup this game, and then like FlyQuest tried to go for his head, and they couldn't get him because he was playing safely, he was playing far back. So I think like being able to push his limits are great, but then having the discipline to take steps back when it's not his turn has been something he's great at.
And one thing we haven't discussed yet about these two team compositions is the range disadvantage that FlyQuest end up having in this game. So not only in a side lane where it's just, Graves into the Jayce, but the rest of the team, the Corki Rockets, as we have talked about, we thought Corki was dead. He's not. He's still here. To
he
my
found a way to persist.
Disappointment. But yeah, like here you see Bwipo going in for a shock blast trade. He ends up trading out because he had the red buff. They mentioned that on desk. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, like TL, we're just waiting for these fight setups around neutral, and then FlyQuest ran into them, and then they just poke you out.
So what's your evaluation there? Let's say we throw you into this game, say on the FlyQuest side, and you're
no, right on the TL.
No, you don't get that
It's
too easy for you, because then you don't change anything, right? So I throw you in on the FlyQuest side with the drafts that are given, and you recognize that kind of range advantage. Like, what are the discussions looking like within the team in order to outmaneuver that, per se?
We have to clear vision and look for something cheesy out of the bush or something because, yeah, I mean, like you guys said, this Corki is just going to walk somewhere, press his ult button once or twice, and then your HP bar, you see it like, you know that one moment where like someone's this much HP, and then boom, you see it, half HP is gone, and you're like, ooh, maybe we can fight this dragon, and then you just all walk back. But yeah, I think FlyQuest actually did a pretty good job of like actually trying to force fights. It's just, I felt like the comp, it was just so hard to find those engages.
For those that didn't know, midway through, I asked Vulcan, I was like, so what would you do if you're at FlyQuest at this point? And he's like, I think Corki needs to like break his hands or his keyboard.
That's the only way.
Protect Bjergsen.
Yeah, because like for me, you've been in Braum perspective or TK perspective in the past, and it's pretty damn difficult.
Yeah.
In this game, they found the opportunity to counterpick, and they at least counterpick, knowing that they're going up against Leona. They see Corki and Aphelios, and they go towards Braum. But when you're dealing with a lot of poke, do you feel like that's ideal? Would you have done something differently? I'm not asking you to kind of expend some of your draft ideas out there, but what would you have gone for in situations like this?
I think Recon would be great, especially paired to Orianna. I don't know if it was banned in 4-5. I didn't pay attention to their bans, but
it was, yeah, sadly.
It was, so that's TL is too good then. Andre. He also was on top of it.
The Vulcan's been countered. Following that, I actually want to ask you about the fact that some teams have clearly decided to invest time in Enchanter top. And we're pulling away from this game. Just while I have you here, I want to make sure that I get some information from you. You're one of the teams that has decided to go for it. What do the conversations look like in terms of evaluating whether or not that was something you should invest time in, knowing that there's a very real chance that disappears from the game at some point?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like that pros and cons, right? Because you play it, you might cheese your way. Well, it's not very cheese anymore because everyone's aware, but you can kind of cheat your way, I feel like, to a win. But then you're like spending time developing strategies that at some point, right, it's just like, nope, no more of that. And then it's just completely a waste of time. So yeah, I mean, we tried not to spend too much time on it. We played like barely a few games, and it's not something that's very hard. And also, we played it pretty bad, so you can see how many games of practice we had on it. So there you go. But yeah, it's definitely like, you don't want to play too many games of that because then you'll just like kind of turn your brain off too much. And yeah.
Just a tiny follow-up to that. Is there like what value is there still in like learning to play them as a team? Because I know like Mark was talking on the desk about like how he thinks, coming from a coach perspective, the value would be at least you learning something together, both how to play it and how to react to it.
Yeah, there's that, and also you're like kind of overloading a side of the map always, where you're like always at a numbers advantage. So it makes your team able to learn faster how to just start fights very quickly and like abuse the fact that you're just more champions, right? So you can just walk somewhere, pick a fight, you can do whatever you want, you can kind of push limits a little bit more. So it kind of accelerates that learning process, I think, the fact that you're always up numbers.
Final question for you. How good are you at beer pong?
There it is.
Very good.
Very good. Let's go!
Dash needs some help.
Yeah, I do.
He didn't
Spoiler
get a-
alert.
he did not get a
You're
cup
on my
last
team.
week.
Oh, no.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us on the Desk here, Vulcan. We
I'm
do
so
have you
sorry.
later today hanging out with us in the Bud Light League Lounge for a little bit of beer pong. We'll see how that goes. I've been promised that I will be carried. But when we return, it's Dignitas Quantum Pay taking on CLG. Ahead of the game, though, there seems to be some confusion between Flowers and Azale. Check it out.
Oh, what's up, bro? Thanks for joining, Flowers.
Hell yeah, dude. No worries. Crazy about what happened to Freak.
Yeah, I've never seen that many bees before.
All right. So, we're in a pause. What did I miss?
You just missed a smite fight for blue.
Okay, cool. Who won?
River.
Okay, but who got the smite?
River.
River got the smite. Was this over a Scuttle Crab?
No, it was over a blue.
Okay, but how did Blue get to River?
Well, with smite mostly.
Oh, so is this like a Syndra jungle?
No, blue's on Syndra.
Okay, so it's Syndra with smite.
Don't be ridiculous.
Okay. You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this from
That's
the
fine,
top.
sure,
Okay,
yeah.
so from the top.
All right.
From the top.
Yep.
Who was in River?
Blue.
Blue was
To help River.
okay. Did I miss a patch? Is it
No, I mean, the mids have always helped junglers.
okay? But I don't know what that has to do with Blue in the river.
I mean, to help River get blue.
Okay, but River can't get Blue, Azale.
Of course he can. It's only 8 minutes in. Who else would it go to?
I don't know. A mid laner, a jungler.
I mean, it seems early for blue to get blue.
Okay. All right. How can Blue get Blue?
Last inning.
That is impossible, Azale. Even if they could, they're on opposite sides of the map.
Blue was in River to help River do his blue, red, blue, clear.
Okay, but you just said there's 3 blues and a red on the map at the same time, and I know that one's impossible.
Not for River.
How can there be red and blue in River?
On River. River took both the blue and the red.
River can take the red, River can take the blue. This is a bad Matrix reference.
No, Neo is, and he's pretty good.
God.
It's Fake God, actually. Get it together.
Freak, are you better? There's only a few bees.
Oh no! That was not even fair.
What if respawning was refreshing? Here's to the round between rounds.
This game is rigged. This game is out to get me.
They give us love. They give us joy. They give us lessons in sharing. So give them some love back. And what says love better than something you can chew on? Use your MasterCard to make secure purchases from anywhere. So your gift will end up in the right hands or mouth. Because being there for each other is priceless.